I'm so excited today because I finally get to use the TBR cards and the TBR jar that I treated myself to last month. So normally I only read about 15 books a month, and what I'm going to do today is build a TBR of 8 books. So that will give me 8 that I'm going to aim to read in the month of January, but that will also give me a little bit of wiggle room to read anything new that comes along that I'm not expecting, or just so that I can mood read and pick out a few alternative books as well. So the first thing I'm going to do today is pick a book recommendation from this TBR jar. Now in here I've got lots of different coloured stars that I put together, and on every single one of these is a book that has been recommended by a viewer. So if you are someone who's recommended a book to me either through my book recommendation form, the link to that will be below, or just in the comments generally against my videos where you recommended books to me, then I have written them down on bits of paper, folded them into stars, and now they're in this jar, and I'm going to pick out one of these to read for the month of January. If you would like your recommendation to be added to this jar, then at any time you can recommend a book to me using the book recommendations form, or pop in a comment in the comment under any of my videos. I'll pick those up and then add them to this jar, and hopefully as we go through 2024 this jar will start to fill up, and I'll pick more of your recommendations from here for me to read. So without further ado, let's see what I'm going to pick out, and I'm going to give it a good old shake, and I'm going to pull out this one here, and then I'm going to unfold it. That's if I can manage to unfold my little star here. So let's see. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to be reading in January is a book called Sinners Anonymous by Somme Sketcher. I believe this one is a dark mafia romance, and it was recommended to me by Karma Chameleon, and it was actually recommended during the Romance Readathon earlier this year, and she recommended that to me, so I popped that into the jar, and so that's the one I'm going to be reading. So there you go. And the blurb says, "My fiance's nephew knows every sin I've ever committed. He's about to become the deepest and darkest of them all. My name is Rory Carter and I do bad things. There's a charred soul under this angelic exterior, and sometimes I wonder if my weekly confessions to the Sinners Anonymous hotline will be enough to heal it. Marrying the 70-something head of the Cosa Nostra to save my father is the only good deed I've ever done. I'm burning and bitter under the fake smile and tight dresses, but I was keeping it together. Until my fiance's nephew turns up to dinner uninvited." So yeah, like I said, this one is a dark mafia, forbidden love, age gap, enemies to lovers romance. So I've heard quite a lot of good things about this one. It's rated 4.3 stars on Amazon, and yeah, it's been on my TBR for a while, so I was happy to pick that one out of the jar. So now I'm going to use this card pack that I bought in November to give me a prompt to pick from something else that's on my TBR. So I'm just going to give these a bit of a shuffle. Just give them a bit of a shuffle. Very bad card shuffling. I'm going to spread them out, and I'm going to pick one card from here. It says here, choose a book which has 5 words in the title. I'm just going to go through kind of my wish list on Amazon to see what I have put on my list, and see if any of them have got 5 words in the title. Okay, so the first one that I actually came across was this one here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I'll try and do a screenshot, if not, and pop that in. But basically the first one I came across was The Devil I Don't Know, and that's by L.K. Shaw. This is book 1 of the Brooklyn King series, and it's an arranged marriage mafia romance. So I love an arranged marriage. Again, another fairly short one at just 262 pages, so that is also good. And the blurb for this one is from Jacob's perspective. It says, "My father is dying and I've been called back to Brooklyn to take my place as the head of the Italian syndicate. After a 7-year absence, my first test of loyalty is to marry the granddaughter of the Irish mob's leader. I may not want a wife, but I'll kill anyone who tries to harm her. I only hope she doesn't expect love in a marriage. I won't love her, not ever. I don't have it in me." So I absolutely love arranged marriage mafia romances. I've recently done a video on that, so hopefully I'll enjoy this one too. And it's absolutely a classic, isn't it, when two rival families have an arranged marriage to bring their families closer together. So this sounds like the Italian and the Irish mafias merging together, and of course, as the hero, he cannot fall in love. He either doesn't think he's got it in him, or usually they don't want a weakness, and they don't want their wives to be a weakness. But of course, as we all know, that is not going to last too long, is it? So I will thoroughly enjoy reading that one, I'm sure. And then the next one, I've got these prompt cards here as well. So I'm gonna pick something from here. Again, I'm going to do a bit of a shuffle. Ooh, not a very good shuffle. Shuffle. And spread the cards out, and I'm going to just pick one randomly from here. And it says, read a book with a map. The first author that sprang to mind, and it's a book that is on my kind of wish list, if you like, is by an author called Hazel Mack. That's her alternative pen name. She also writes under Anna Fury, and I really like her writing as Anna Fury. She does a Megaverse, but as Hazel Mack, she started a new kind of like paranormal series, and I read the first one. I really enjoyed it during the Monster Mash readathon, and so I've been wanting to read the second book in that series for a while, and it's called Tangling with Trolls, and it's Haven Ever After book 2, and it does have a map in the front, and it's a map of the sort of the town where they go, Haven, Welcome to Ever, basically. It's the town where they all live. It's a sweet small town troll romance, and it's book 2 in the Haven Ever After series. I really liked the first book when I read it for the Monster Mash readathon. That featured a gargoyle and a witch, and this one, as the title suggests, features a witch and a troll. And this one, the blurb says, a month ago I had no idea that monsters lived in hidden towns. Surprise! The tiny New England town of Ever is a haven for them. Vampire brothers run the coffee shop. Werewolf bikers will fix your car. I can sort of wrap my head around that. But then I meet Ocken Stonesmith, bridge troll and all around badass. He's way older than me, crazy confident, and he owns the town's only flower shop. In short, he's my ideal man. The second surprise, I'm a green witch. But when I struggle to use my newly discovered magic, Ocken offers to teach me, although his methods aren't exactly conventional. It's a fairly short read, just slightly less than 300 pages. And like I say, I've thoroughly enjoyed book 1, so really looking forward to reading that, and glad that I got that prompt from my cards. Okay, so that's the first 3 books all locked in. So the next books that I think I'm going to get to in January. The first one is actually a new release that will come out on the 28th of December, and it's called Hands by S.J. Tilly, and it's book 4 in the Alliance series. I read the first 3 books earlier this month, absolutely loved them. The last book, Dom, I rated 5 stars, and I'm very intrigued to find out more about Hands and get his romance. So I'll definitely be diving into that. Like I say, it's a new release on the 28th of December, so if I have time I might pick it up and actually read it at the back end of December, but I'll already have done my December read and wrap up by then, just because of the Christmas break and New Year and everything, so it will definitely be pushed into my January reads regardless. And this one features Hans, who is the hero. Now, we've seen him in a couple of the other books, and at first the other kind of heroes in this series haven't really liked Hans. They think he's into human trafficking, and they're trying to shut him down and sort of rescue the women that are being trafficked. The thing is, we've kind of just found out in book 3 that maybe Hans isn't a baddie after all. In fact, he may have actually saved the characters in the previous book, and so I'm really excited to know more about Hans and what he's up to. The blurb on this one from his point of view says, I'm a dangerous man, a man who has spent the last 2 decades removing so many souls from this earth that it's a miracle my hands aren't permanently stained red. I'm a man who belongs in the shadows. I certainly don't belong in my pretty little neighbour's bedroom when she's not home, touching her things and inhaling her scent. I shouldn't follow her, shouldn't watch her, because no number of cookies on my doorstep will change the fact that love isn't an option for me. The only option left for me is violence. So it sounds a bit like it's going to be a sort of a stalker mafia romance as well. I'm a bit partial to an obsessed hero who stalks the heroine, I have to say. The other 2 new releases coming out in January that I really want to read are the first one is Toxic Love by Jagger. That comes out on the 11th of January. I started reading Jagger for the first time this year. I've read the first 3 books in his sort of Dark Heart series, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. I'll definitely be going on to read the rest of that series, but he's starting a new series in the new year, and I believe Toxic Love is going to be the first one, so I definitely want to pick that one up and read that. And there isn't much of a blurb going on here. It simply says, I caught the devil's eye and he never ever blinks. And that's all it says. It says a standalone first book in the Venomous Gods series. So yeah, looking forward to finding out a bit more about this book, but it does say that it's a dark enemies to lovers mafia romance, so we'll definitely be jumping on that one when it comes out. And then Emilia Finn, who is an Australian author, is releasing The Tallest Tower on the 12th of January, and I really want to pick this one up as well. I love Emilia Finn. One of her books is actually one of my all-time favourite books, and while I'm not fully caught up to everything she has written, and some of the things that she has written haven't particularly been my favourite, this is the start of a new mafia series that she's writing, so I absolutely want to jump on that and pick that up and see what it's like. So I'll be reading that in January. The Tallest Tower is actually book 1 in the Underbelly Enchanted series. So The Tallest Tower is a sizzling hot, close proximity, reverse Grumpy Sunshine contemporary romance and can be read as a complete standalone. And it says there's dark themes throughout. The blurb says, I hate Felix Maloney with all my heart and soul. He's a second-born son of a murderous Don, the newest leader of the Maloney mafia family now that his father is dead. But if I could have hoped a change in management would mean a positive shift for the notorious crime family, then I'm proven wrong as Felix quickly settles into his new role and lays scourge on New York City. He believes he's not as bad as the man who came before him, purely because the women he bed survive the night. But Felix is just a different kind of evil, all smiles and jokes, drawing women in with his godlike body and trapping them with his roguish charm and fast wit. But I'm the one woman this devil incarnate won't woo... ... Probably he's going to, isn't he? He probably will absolutely woo her. Then another new release that's coming out in January, but I'm likely to get the ARC for this in the next week or 2, is Savage Wounds by Lilian Harris. And this actually is due out on the 8th of January, but like I said, I'm due to get an ARC for this one in the next week or 2. And so again, it's one of those that I'm likely to read towards the back end of December, but so that I've got my reviews all ready to go for the 8th of January when it comes out. So if I don't quite make that for the end of this month, then it will definitely be in my January's releases. With this one, it is actually book 4 in the Messino crime family, and I've not actually read books 1, 2 and 3, so my plan is to try and read those and catch up with those this month before January, before I read the ARC basically. But if I don't, then Lilian Harris's guidance is that I at least need to read book 3, so I'll see how I get on with my reading for the rest of this month. If I can squeeze in all the first 3 books, then I absolutely will. If not, I'll probably just read book 3 before I pick up the ARC. And the blurb for this one says, I'm a hunter, destroying the evil that roams these streets. That's always been my focus. Then I saw her, my newest obsession, my deadliest sin. One look into her eyes and I knew we were the same, hungry for blood, for revenge, hiding behind our secrets. She has her demons and I have mine. Our scars run so deep no one knows how much we bleed except the 2 of us. She doesn't know that I've been watching her, waiting for my chance to possess her body and soul until all she knows is me. When I finally tell her who I am, there will be no escaping me because Kayla Jenkins is mine. And it says it's a mass stalker vigilante mafia romance. So again, I love a mafia romance, I love a stalker romance, so I really hope that I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy this one. I'm sure I will. And then the other book that I'm likely to read either again towards the tail end of this month or early in January is The Nephilim's Fellowship by Eliza Hampstead. Now I'm hoping to get this one as a beta copy because I've beta read the last 2 books for Eliza, and I'm hoping that she will send me the beta copy of this book as well towards the end of this month. I think she said it would be ready mid-December, so any day now basically. That I'm hoping that will come through, and so that'll be something that I'll be prioritising again towards the end of this month, but it will definitely appear in my weekly reading wrap up for January. But the book itself is not actually due out until the 26th of February. So this is the 4th and final book of this series. Through the first 3 novels we've had a very overarching storyline that sees us in this one going to hell to save the world. In a race against time and preventing the world from falling into an apocalyptic demon invasion, Nate, Alyssa and their companions make the perilous trek through the circles of hell to confront the demonic king Beleth. But surviving the descent will require all of their strength, and one wrong step could cost them their lives. The undead vampire Victoria is hiding a terrible secret. She's prepared to make a sacrifice to save humanity, but it will mean betraying her closest friends. Hazel, the young witch wielding ice magic, has her own agenda to join her friends into hell. Driven by revenge, she meets Enrique, a seductive succubus who's determined to show her the pleasures of life again. Meanwhile, Andrew struggles under an unholy bond with the malicious demon ruler. But to escape the monster's clutches, his love, Azariel, must do the unthinkable. Alicia knows she's the only one who can stop the hellish invasion, but hell is no place for a heavily pregnant woman. With her powerful unborn child, days from delivery, she knows she's walking straight into the lion's den, and when she finally faces the Demon King, she uncovers a horrifying secret about her past. The fate of the human and magical worlds hangs in the balance, but Nate only cares about one thing, and they'll have to make a deal with the devil to save the woman he loves. So it sounds like it's going to be a fantastic ending to the series. All of the characters have all got hidden agendas. They've all got something to lose when they go to hell, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and how everyone finally gets their HEA. So really looking forward to that, and I'll let you know how I get on. So there we go. That was a really short video for today. But I just wanted to pick some TBR for January. My plan for 2024 is that I will at least have a TBR so that I have sort of fixed like 7 or 8 fixed books per month basically that I'm going to focus on reading, and then giving myself 7 or 8 books that I can just mood read or pick up things as they come in, new releases that I'm not yet aware of that I want to read and come at me last minute. And then what I'm going to be doing as well is tracking whether or not I actually did read the books that I was hoping to. I'll probably do a roundup sort of mid-year to see how I'm getting on with overall with the TBR. My plan is also to start a second TBR jar with recommended reads from other booktubers. As I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks they'll start to release some of their books, you know, the favourite books that they've read in 2023 and the ones that they absolutely recommend, and I'll be picking up any that I haven't personally read myself that sound interesting to me. I will put into a separate jar and then see how I get on with other people's favourites, and see whether I agree with their favourites or not. So that's my very short and sweet TBR for January. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content from me. So all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I don't know if I can actually shuffle these. We're gonna shuffle these. I don't know what I was messing around doing that for. All smiles and jokes, drawing women in with his godlike body and wrapping them. Oh, not wrapping them. I guess he could wrap them, but he's trapping them. Then I'm proven wrong as figs. Can't even read. How am I supposed to read books if I can't read? And it does say that it's a sizzling hot, close proximity. Close proximity. So it does say that it's a sizzling hot, close proximity, reverse grumpy sunshine, contemporary I can't say proximity and I can't say contemporary, apparently. Hans. I think it'll be Hans, won't it? Like as in the German name Hans. It's Hans. So we're going to say Hans. It's very, very challenging to unwrap it all the way. Right, because I like to make it hard for myself, I thought I was done recording and then decided to say more words because I couldn't possibly have a video that short